All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back. We've been gone for a minute. We're back. We're back. I've been playing Shadow the Erd Tree. Honestly, I've been having a ton of fun in the DLC. I'm gonna start off by saying that I've been having a ton of fun. And secondly, the DLC is hard. It is hard. I've made it this far, so I think that this proves something that yeah, it is hard, but it's not impossible. Obviously, I've explored a fair amount. There is still a couple of bosses I haven't killed just yet, and this is the final boss right here. This is the final boss. We're gonna go ahead and fight him probably once or twice, just to show y'all what I'm kind of going through here. But I've been seeing a ton of people, and I'll show the Steam review here up on the screen. But just a ton of people like not review bombing, but just coming into their reviews and just complaining about the game being so hard. And I honestly I don't really get that. I don't understand it. Yeah, it's hard. Trust me, I know. Um, but there's other things in the game to make it not so hard. One of the power ups for the game is to literally increase. I believe it makes your summons more stronger. I think if I remember correctly. So even if it is hard, you could just use a summon like the mimic. And I'm not gonna lie, I've used the mimic on two bosses. On two bosses. That is all right, hold on. Future editor Senpai Migs coming in here. I just want to mention, I don't think I pointed this out. Not all the complaints are on are on the game being too difficult. There are some where some people are just having performance issues. Me personally, I like to think that my PC isn't like top of the line. I don't think it is, but I'm running the game on 60 at a constant 60 frames. So me personally, I haven't had any issues. But right here, mixed reviews. And a good portion are people just saying the game's too hard. There are also some saying, you know, performance issues. But FromSoft has long since departed, challenging but fair. A spoiler light review, the perspective of a decade plus series veteran. I will preface this DLC review by saying I nearly beat Millennia on my first try when this game came out. I damn near did, but it ended up taking until my third. With that in mind, and the decade or so I have under my belt playing these games, I'd say I'm qualified to speak on the difficulty. I'm by no means godlike at these games, but I'm far from a slouch. Well, and past skill of the average player, so you can rest assured my perspective is fair and accurate. Some of the bosses are great. I'm going to keep some of the names vague because of spoilers, but instances like the Madness boss was probably the best of the DLC. He was challenging enough to keep me engaged, but not so unfair. I felt like it was an high impossible to dodge his attacks. Now, there's something I wanted to point out. Some of the bosses, they're hard, but they're not unbeatable. And I think Rolana is a good example. The boss he's mentioned here, I think I know what boss he's mentioned. I'm gonna go ahead and say spoiler warning, but it's Mesmer. He's talking about Mesmer. If I'm getting it right, I think he's talking about Mesmer. And Mesmer, again, he's not a hard boss, but I think something a problem I had with Mesmer and some of these bosses, and maybe some people are also having these problems, is I mentioned it in the video, but some of the move sets you just can't or not move sets, but if you're pairing a Rolana perfectly and you're gonna come into Mesmer, it's not the same. It's not the same, especially if you're working with timing and how timing's kind of your way of knowing when to parry. For me, for example, there's times where Don's about to lift up his sword and swing down, and I know parry. If I don't parry that, then I know he's gonna swing to the side, and I could parry that, right? This is just after X amount of tries of learning his move set and knowing what I can and can't parry, and knowing the timing of the parry, right? I mean, even if I don't parry, swing the parry, miss, but I don't take the whole ton of damage. Re-parry, get the parry. Don't stagger him, but he's parried where I could get one hit, and then action starts again, right? So I think this guy's kind of mentioning a good point about this boss. But here we go. Here we go. I'm on New Game Plus 2, which I'm sure skews things against me. But even with maxed out DLC blessings and being insanely high level with every possible thing in the game at my disposal, the final boss is just so utterly ridiculous. I can't believe they thought it was okay. I'm on the final boss, and he is pretty crazy, but I don't think it's like to a point where it's like I don't know. I'm not getting mad over the fact that he's so hard. If I do get mad, I get mad because damn it, I dodged way too early. Damn it, I panicked and just spam parried. Damn it, I panicked and just dodged all over the map and none of them worked and I got hit every single time, right? But it's not because the boss is too hard. It's again, I'm gonna say this and I'm not saying this to disrespect anyone, but skill issue, right? I'm saying that for myself. I'm not saying that to anyone, and I don't want to disrespect anyone or like offend anyone. But that's honestly just that's just the way I look at it. That's just the way I look at it. This guy goes and does give a really nice, um, well response. But again, the DLC is not insanely hard. It's hard, but not insanely hard. For some, it's just maybe impossible. Maybe it's just not your type of game. You know, maybe it's just your not your type of game, right? Elden Ring is the first Souls game I really got into, sat down and put all my time into, and I don't regret it. I did see this up here. Is where is it at? The DLC doesn't solve any. Wait, where is it? Him? Where was it at? It might have been this one. Oh, the DLC doesn't solve any problem. Original game. Wait, what? A little bit of a weird way. Instead, it adds a new one. Every boss now is spinning firework, fighting with which is an uninteresting as arguing with get good sect followers. Create spirit ashes system which add a problem. Boss now have to fight multiple enemies at the same time. Attempt to solve this problem by adding every boss an AoE one shot, barely dodgeable attack while spinning around the whole arena and being invincible for every melee projectile attack whatsoever. Profit? No. Again, there's just a lot of people kind of just hating on the DLC because of the difficulty, and I just think I don't know. I just think like the game the DLC isn't supposed to be a walk in the park, and it should definitely not be as on the same difficulty level as the base game. Then what's the point of the DLC, right? And I really hope they don't nerf any of the bosses. I kind of just want them to say I kind of just want to say hey, skill issue. We're leaving it like this. Good luck. Right, right. This guy right here, extremely overpriced, ultimately not a DLC worth buying at the current price point. At half price would be more reasonable. This I don't agree with whatsoever. I don't agree with whatsoever. I don't know where the review is, but someone mentions how he walked around. Oh, I'm giving a negative review because I was already getting tired of picking up worthless, whatever he says, worthless blank like something stone sixes and uh, just started choking on like air or something. And Ghost Glowheart threes from items on the ground. And after picking up a pile of 6 smithing stones, one's almost back to back. I'm Joker now. Don't listen to any other reviewers. By the way, I graduated top of my class in Reddit University, and I alone am the. I'm assuming he's being sarcastic, but again, just a ton of people were also just saying like not enough content, bro. You probably walked around the very first Grace you seen for 10 minutes and didn't move on. Didn't move on. The DLC has a ton. I just showed you on my map. I have a good amount of the Graces discovered. Probably not all of them. I was just walking around a day and I found the dragon. I think his name was something something Sensax, I think. And he's like a lightning dragon, sort of similar to the one you fight in a base game when you're on that like dragon plane towards the end game. After you beat what do you beat? Morgoth? Or the fire after you beat the fire giant and you get to that like sort of dragon plane area. But come on, bro. Like, the game, it's a good DLC. I don't want you guys to like listen to any of these, but I'm also not trying to like prove a point. Like if it's too hard, it's too hard, you know. But yeah, let's go ahead and just get back to it. The first one is the hippo. The hippo. If I had one complaint about Shadow of the Yew Tree, the hippo's arena is just crazy small and he's crazy big. And there's moments where I just like my camera, I can't see anything and I can't see what he's doing. And sure, I could spam roll, but that's not always gonna help. So I used a mimic on him with the Bloodhound's Fang. Don't I didn't use the Bloodhound's Fang too much just because that weapon. I mean, it's a great weapon. It's a great weapon, but I just would rather not use it a whole lot just because I know it kind of, I don't want to say makes the game easier, but it's just the weapon's just so good. It honestly does make the game easier. You get blood loss, stagger enemies fairly quickly if you have a decent build with the Bloodhound, and it's just an all around good weapon. One of my favorite weapons in the entire game, right? The second one was for, where's she at? Those for a boss somewhere around here. Um, oh, the boss that's in here. She's like a centipede or a caterpillar type boss. Honestly, really, really cool boss design. I really love that boss design. I think out of all the bosses I've fought so far, this design of this boss has to be my favorite. I'll put a picture of her up on the screen, but it's a really, really nice boss, and I honestly really did like the fight. But she, again, it's just one of those things. Her arena is pretty big, so that wasn't a problem. But for me, I like to play up close and personal. So there is moments where she's moving across the map and I'm being dragged along with her just because I'm so close with her. Like I'm not even moving. I'm not even using my joysticks, but I'm still being dragged with her. Which I mean, it's fine. There was moments where I could just spam my weapon, which I wasn't using this weapon at that time. I was using what weapon was I using? It's up here. I was using this weapon, which you get from Rolana. Which Rolana, hard boss, a tough boss, but didn't take me a whole ton of time to beat her. It took me some time to get used to her movements and like my timing for the pairing. But other than that, I mean, good boss, difficult, but not impossible, not unbeatable. And that's kind of with all these bosses. Yeah, they're hard, but they're not unbeatable. And I mean, yeah, again, I just been seeing a ton of people just complain about the difficulty of the DLC. And like, really? Did you really buy the DLC, come in thinking it was gonna be a walk in the park? Like this base Elden Ring, I think now if you've played Elden Ring a decent amount of time, Elden Ring should be fairly easy. Fairly easy. I go in and fight the tree sentinel, and I probably don't beat him my first try, but it's not gonna take me an hour. It probably took me maybe my fourth try, my third try, sometimes even my second. Shoot, there even have been times where I've beat him on my first try. Because I've played the game for so long, my muscles just have the memory of their movements. So I know what to dodge. I just know I just know how to fight the boss, right? And so with most of these bosses that are difficult, you're gonna go in a couple of times, more than a couple, probably, and eventually you're just gonna get the hang of it, and you're gonna be golden. With Rolana, again, I was having a hard time. So Rolana was really the one boss where I was like, all right, I'm gonna start parrying. I didn't start parrying up until her. And then once I got the parrying down, it was just so satisfying to just get that parry. And then you have to parry her a second time to stagger her, which was awesome. Like beating her that way without the mimic just feels so satisfying. When I do use the mimic and I did beat those two bosses, that it did feel like I was cheating. I was like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. Because again, the mimic does make the game easier. It makes the game a whole lot easier. But when you beat a boss without using something like the mimic and just your pure skill, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's the best feeling in the entire world. Probably not in the entire world, but it's just a phenomenal feeling. If you've ever struggled on a boss and you finally get to a point where you beat her and or beat them, it just feels really good right after. But that doesn't, I'm not saying I don't know. I just been seeing a ton of people complain about the difficulty, and I just really, really hope FromSoft doesn't listen. And I honestly want them to not nerf any bosses. I really hope they don't. I hope they kind of just put their heads down and keep going forward. Because realistically, the DLC should not be on the same difficulty level as the base game, in my opinion. And then secondly, like if you're really having that much of a hard time, hey, one, again, use a mimic. Two, explore. Three, there's things in the DLC to make your character stronger. Like the sacred tree, what are they called? The sacred tree blessings. Like that makes your character's defense and attack stronger. Like go around collecting those. I don't know if I've even collected all of them, but I've collected a decent amount where I'm doing okay against most of these bosses. It's kind of just one, I'm having a little bit of a hard time, and two, I kind of have to get used to their movements. Something I do enjoy about the DLC is, for example, Rolana. I learned how to parry her really well But when I fought Mesmer, I couldn't. I had to like relearn how to parry his moves, which I didn't even try parrying him. I just ended up beating him dodging. A good boss, by the way, but not my favorite. Again, I think my favorite has to be this one that's up over here. If I had to say for a second, the final boss is pretty cool, but again, I haven't fought too many. I know I'm missing a couple of bosses. I'm trying to remind myself of the bosses I fought because it's definitely been a minute. The lion, the dancing lion, I think was his name. That was cool. That was a cool starting boss. That was a great starting boss actually. After the lion, you fight Rolana. After Rolana, I fought the hippo again. The camera, it's just he's just in such a small arena, and it just makes it a little bit hard. It makes it a lot harder. And I only say that because there's a couple of those golden hippos I found outside in like a big open area, and it's easy. It's not hard. So it's not that the boss is hard. It's just that the arena is so small. And again, there's times where you just get stuck and your camera's like all like messed up, so you don't know what he's doing. But man, what a game! What a DLC! What a DLC! We're gonna go and fight this guy a couple of times. This is, I believe, the final boss of the DLC, like storyline wise. But man, he's a tough one. He's spoilers, by the way. Damn, I keep dodging that one too early. And also, I ain't even like a crazy gamer or anything. I would consider myself above the casual player slightly. The horrible parry, horrible timing. See, there's so many times where I just get so locked on to I have to parry, and I'll just kind of start spamming it like panic, and then I just end up killing myself like that. I just wanted to come on here and just talk about like again, just these people complaining about the game's difficulty. I don't know. For me, it's like, yeah, the game's hard, but one, I can adjust. Two, if I really, really wanted to, I I could bust out the mimic. Where's he at? Where's he at? I could bust out the mimic if I wanted to. Really? Like, yes, the boss is hard, but again, it's not horribly hard, but it is hard. It is hard, but I'm not even saying that from like a complaining standpoint. I honestly love the fact that it's this hard. I love it. I love it a whole lot. If I really, I'm not done with the DLC yet, but if I had to rate it so far, honestly, I think it's an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Maybe it's not a 10 out of 10, but it is a 8 or 9. It's definitely a high number. I think it's really, really good. It's definitely something I've been waiting for ever since they announced that they were going to be doing the DLC. To now actually be playing it is honestly it's awesome. It's awesome. And then for Radon to okay, for Radon to be the final boss is actually crazy. Like this is Radon at his full power. Horrible time to heal. Damn. Again, I'm having a hard time with this boss. I'm most likely gonna be here for a minute, but I love that. I love that I'm being challenged to the point where I can't even get him to second phase at a continuous point. There was times where I was struggling on a boss, Mesmer, for example, And then I got to a point where I'm getting to a second phase consistently. Now I got to get used to a second phase. And then next thing you know, I beat him. And I honestly, I don't know. For me, it's not a complaint. I understand if I'm having a hard time. One, skill issue, obviously skill issue, right? But some people don't think like that, and I mean that's okay. I'm not even saying that to like offend anyone. I don't mean to say you're bad to offend someone, but you're bad. You're bad, but you can get better, right? What is it that they say? Perfect practice makes perfect something. I don't know. They say something like that. I hate that move. Damn, I wanted to heal so badly. I shouldn't have healed there. That's like a 50-50 for me to dodge. Only one class guard ready, but that's fine. Not not really trying to beat him on this. Horrible time to heal. I think one thing, like an issue people have, is they just have it in their mind that they cannot use summons. Like, no, I don't want to use summons. It's bad. It's bad for the game. I mean, it's not bad for the game. It's in the game for a reason, right? I always hate whenever people say use your summon. You're bad at the game. I mean, you're not bad at the game, but compared to someone that doesn't use a summon, they're probably better. Actually, they're better, right? I mean, that's I don't see an issue with using it, nor do I see an issue with not using it. To those that don't use summon tape, my hats are off to you. My hats are off to you, and well done, well done. I was expecting a different move so I could parry. Damn, I don't have like any time to fucking recover from. from that. I should have dodged to the side. I should have dodged to the side. Again, it's just about getting better, right? Right. If I don't practice on the boss, I'm not gonna fight him. And again, like I said, I don't consider myself no pro by all means. I'm probably far from it, but I think I'd consider myself on like skill level more than maybe the casual player. I'd maybe consider myself slightly above, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. I've made it this far. I think that says something. Damn, that move. Oh my god, it's always the last meteor that. Damn, I thought that was it. I didn't. He's about to do that swing. Yes, sir. Damn. You see, now I'm at a point where I'm getting consistently to a quarter. Right, we're making improvements. Yesterday I couldn't get him this far. Yesterday night, right? Yesterday night. I am using a little bit of a weird build. I didn't start off with this build. I actually started off using the Nagakilo, but kind of wanted to switch it up. I've never really done a build where I'm just using a heavy weapon like this. So I kind of said, hey, why not try something different here? See how it works. I've staggered him once. See early parry. Ah, horrible time to heal. Horrible time to heal again. I gotta heal again because if not, it's gonna kill me. Upswing. Yes, sir. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Now, now, now. This is the part where it gets low hard. This is the part where it gets hard. He's gonna give me a little hug. Not entirely sure what that does, or if it's actually just a little hug. Damn. But look at that. Look at that. Second phase. We got to second phase. Got a couple of hits in. Now dodge some moves I haven't been able to dodge before. I mean, come on, come on, come on. Like I said, perfect practice makes perfect. Perfect. I don't know what the rest of the saying is. Oh no, it's perfect preparation makes perfect practice. That's what it was. That's what it was. I was saying it wrong. It's perfect preparation makes perfect practice. Horrible. I don't even know if I could parry that, to be honest with you. Kind of just trying out. See, now that I know I could parry. Damn, I dodged way too early on that move every single time. All right, we'll go ahead and give it one more try and we'll call it a video. But, I really just wanted to come on here and just talk about these people complaining about the game being too hard and please nerf it. I really hope they don't nerf it. I really, really hope they don't. Because, like I said, it shouldn't be on the same difficulty level as the base game. I think it's perfect the way it is. It's not unbeatable. They can phase again. Okay. Now it's for the hard part. Damn. That is just a fucking move. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave it at that. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a couple more runs before I go ahead and call it a night. But again, like I said, perfect preparation makes perfect practice. Right? Is the DLC hard? Yes. Is it unbeatable? No. Right? I think for me, not being like the best player, making it this far kind of says something. It kind of says something. You know, I get not everyone's like me. Not everyone's willing to put in the time, the hours. You know, some of us got jobs. I got a job, right? Luckily, luckily, when the DLC came out, I had two days off. I didn't even know. I didn't even know I was gonna have the days off, but I did. So I spent a ton of time playing it, and I've been having a whole ton of fun. And I really hope y'all are too. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.